Hey guys, how's it going? Today I wanted to share my testimony to show how I grew closer to God. I remember going to camp one year. We went to North Carolina while I was in middle school, and I had one of the best times of my life. We went whitewater rafting. I was able to hang out with all my friends, have a lot of fun, and the messages were really great, and they really spoke to me. I had a ton of fun, but then I got home, right? I remember standing out by our pool in the back patio, and I've never really seen my dad cry before. And me and him were just standing out there, and he starts getting teary-eyed. And he tells me, I'm not supposed to tell you this. I'm not really allowed to tell you this, but I can't not tell you. I can't lie to you. And he told me the news that your mom's leaving. And I remember thinking, how could this happen? Why, God, would you let this happen? And I started asking God these questions. How could you let her leave? Do you even care about me and my family? So my mom moved out, and during these next few months, I remember my dad never lost his faith in God. And I remember that he was still 100% faithful to his wife. My dad always said, God can fix this. God can repair our family. But I didn't have faith. I didn't have faith that God would bring our family back together. In my mind, my mom was too far gone, and I felt like God had abandoned me. And honestly didn't understand how my dad could still have faith, how he could still be faithful to the person who betrayed him, and how he could still be faithful to the God who allowed this to happen. In middle school, I used to wear all these bracelets. I had a whole bunch of these rubber bracelets up and down my arm. I had like 50 of them. And I remember one time going over to my mom's apartment. I hated going there, but she knew that I liked these bracelets, and she gave me one of these bracelets that she had acquired. I've asked her since, and she doesn't even remember giving me this bracelet. I didn't think much of it. I just threw it on. But then later that day, I read what was written on that bracelet. And on that bracelet, it said, "A reason to hope." And at that moment, I got just really angry. I was not only sad, now I'm super angry. And I felt like, of all the people to give me a message, to give me a sign of hope, my mom, really? Come on. I just felt like not only has God now abandoned me, right? But now I felt like God was mocking me. There's no reason to hope. She's not coming back. It's too far gone. I remember a couple months had passed. My dad got a phone call. My mom had been in a car accident. And like my faithful dad, he was the first one at the scene. And in that moment, I feel like God worked on my mom's heart. She decided to stop running from God and to start embracing him. It wasn't instant, right? There was still a lot of counseling involved, but God brought our family back together. And that's when I look back down at my bracelet and read the words, "A reason to hope." I have a bracelet. Read the words, "A reason to hope." You see, through the entire process, God was there. I felt abandoned, but he never abandoned me. I was just like my mom, running from God. God gave me that sign and told me, "Hey Josh, you still have a reason to hope. Jesus is the reason to hope." So when I read those words on my wrist, in that moment, God worked on my heart. And I decided to stop running from God. I was just like my mom, running away from God. And I decided I'm not going to run anymore. Now, your story might have ended differently than mine. But even if my family didn't come back together, Jesus is still our hope. You can still have hope in Jesus. God will never fail you. What do you do when you are betrayed? You put your hope in Jesus. What do you do when you feel abandoned? You put your hope in Jesus. What do you do when you run away from God? You put your hope in Jesus. Because God could take bad situations and turn them in for good. I heard someone say that if you are a plant, you can either let the manure cover you up, or you can let you grow. So when the crap of the world hits you, when things happen, you can either let it cover you up and bury you, or you can let it allow you to grow, right? So in this situation, God was able to allow our family to come back together, but God also worked on my faith, right? My faith soared after this. God also worked on my mom. My mom became one of my best friends, and I love her so much. My mom is one of the most sweetest and nicest people, but she also is one of the most devoted people to Christ that I know. My parents now, they counsel people who need marriage help, and they've actually written a book about the whole situation. We are closer as a family now, and we are all closer to God now. I just want to encourage you that whenever you go through a hard trial, that you have a reason to hope, and that hope is Jesus.